tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Studio!
Yay!
No, we're doing the countdown.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Good. I just wet my pants.
Yes.
I wear her pants.
We spilled one of these mugs, and that's all that happened.
It's just water.
Yeah, it's
I
just
almost
water.
wish it was wine.
That would go perfect
just
with the
went right
music.
in there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so hey, you guys,
I was
thank
just trying
you
to take a picture.
for joining us. This is AfterBuzz TV, and we are talking about one of my favorite shows, Jane the Virgin, Chapter 13. And we have some incredible guests in the house. She's actually on the show this evening. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't subscribe to youtube.com/AfterBuzz TV. That's
Find
it, right?
us on, or you can go on SoundCloud and iTunes. Rate us 5 stars, leave your comments, let
Give
us
us a
know.
thumbs up.
Right, let us know what you
Share.
want to hear, what you don't like, what you like. Help us so that we can help you guys.
And smiley faces too. We like smiley faces.
Exactly.
So yes,
And
definitely.
hearts.
Yeah, and hearts.
And
emojis.
shout-outs.
And
Yes.
X's and O's.
Right?
We like those too. Yes.
And feel free to tweet at us during the show. You can find Madison on Twitter at...
I'm Madison Chase Fit, and I'm also your trainer to the stars and the star in you, and I'm also your voice of virginity because I'm actually a real live virgin, a real one.
Yeah, you are.
Real laugh virgin
Yeah.
she is.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Gabby's like, what?
I didn't know those existed.
You guys,
I know.
and you guys can find me on
They do
Twitter at
exist.
Stephanie Giorgi. And then we have our special guest
Special
here.
guest is on the show tonight.
Just spilled water all over
It's
the studio.
okay.
It's like it's just come. It's
It's
raining.
totally
on us.
okay. This is Gaby Fresquez.
Yes, and my Twitter is at Gaby Fresquez. Pretty
And
simple.
you played Abuela's physical therapist tonight.
Yes, you did
Had
a
to
good
look
job.
closely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you looked very good in spandex.
Oh well, thank you.
Really worked that.
And I love your
That-
dimple too. Your dimple sisters.
Girl, I like how you let. I
Yeah,
see you.
I see you. Dimple.
And you can find me at Giselle Ugarte on Twitter.
And you have
On my
to know, Giselle, that people were asking on, did you see on YouTube? They were like,
Oh my
when is
gosh,
you
Giselle
guys.
coming back?
So I have to give a shout out to, I don't remember her last name, but it was Jill, who said that
Bauer.
me being gone. Yeah, Jill
Bauer.
Bauer. She
Hey,
said that
Jill.
me being gone was like the Pasión de Santos without the Santos,
Without the
which
Santos.
is like the nicest thing anyone's ever
I
said about me.
know.
So I love you, Jill. Thanks for watching.
Isn't that very cute?
Actually, shout out to both Jill and I want to say it was Parallel something.
Parallel choices.
Parallel Choices. You guys had wonderful commentary last
Yeah.
week and were very thorough in everything that you said. We appreciated that because it definitely brought a lot of perspective for
And then
a
our
lot
friend
of
Keep us on our
Tennessee-
game.
Yeah,
Yes.
Tennessee.
Tennessee Hale.
Tennessee Hale Alley,
she,
right.
Yeah, she totally gave us a whole bunch of information on zodiac signs because we talked about that chapter 12.
You're a Gemini?
Leo.
You're a Leo.
Leo sisters.
My boyfriend is a Gemini.
Oh, that's
Okay.
interesting.
Cute.
And we
That's
have
so
Adam
funny.
helping out with the cleanup
He
situation.
probably is not on the screen, but it's
Probably
okay.
It's all good. I wore this like plastic pleather pants today, so.
Did you say plastic pleather?
Yeah, redundant, I know.
Oh no.
no.
Okay, let's hope
She's
that
got
still
it.
works. Cell
It's all
phone.
good.
Okay, so let's talk about the show. Okay, yeah. So let's dive
Don't mind
right
us.
into it. Yeah, don't mind
close
us.
your
We're just
eyes
doing a
and
little
listen
cleanup.
to the
The
sounds
first
of
scene, of
Madison.
course, always starts with my favorite flashback of Jane at the doctor's office. She's about to get a shot, which I hate getting shots too. And so she asks for a countdown. And of course,
To prepare herself.
Yeah, to prepare herself. And then she realizes that she really has a problem of letting go because I think she was actually holding the doctor's hand that had the needle in her hand. And she was like, okay, you have to let go. And
She's a
so
planner.
She's
She
a
is.
planner. She's a super
Control
duper planner.
freak.
Control freak and a perfectionist too. Because I think that's like a combination. Like you almost, what do you think,
Yeah,
Gabby?
no,
You're
I
making
don't know.
a strange face.
I always had a really hard time getting shots as a kid too.
Me
Like my mom would
too.
have to be like promise me a trip to Disneyland or a present or like some ridiculous amount of dessert in order to get me to go in and have a
Really?
shot. So I had a lot of anxiety about that as well. So I completely relate to that.
Yeah. Speaking of
I
that,
love
today
getting shots.
I got my teeth cleaned, a deep cleaning, and she was like, "Do you want a shot?" I was like, "Nope, just put the topical on, no shot." So I totally.
You're a big
understand that.
girl.
Yeah, I'm a
You
big
handled
girl.
it like a pro.
Yeah, I did.
I thought
did it.
shots were cool when I was a kid because it blew.
You got the Band-Aid.
No, because it blew my mind that a needle was going in my body, and I was like, I mean, I feel it, but it doesn't hurt that much. And
wow.
I related a needle to a knife when I was younger, so I was like, it doesn't even hurt, and it just was so cool. It was like,
got
dear.
her
Girl.
I
I
was
was
like,
kind
you
of
know-
with you there where like I just wanted to be the tough one because I had 2 big brothers, so I wanted to like look all tough, and so I would go with my friends to get shots. Like I would promise my friend ice cream. My roommate to this day, she has a fear of needles and blood, and I have to go with her and show her pictures of puppies as she's going, otherwise she faints.
Right, my friend Tanya
Yeah.
also. She like starts crying a little bit. I'm like, shut up, just get the needle.
No shots for me.
The fear is real, but with her, the interesting thing is it's not a fear of blood or needles, it's just the fear of being out of control and, you know, of having someone else in control of
What they're doing to your
whatever
body,
it's
of
going to
course.
be.
You guys, I'm learning so much about myself from this conversation.
We aim to please here at
That's what it
AFTERBUZZ
really-
She's
TV.
like,
What it
that's
really
what
all
it
stemmed
is.
from.
We look at the bigger picture.
Yes,
here.
we see all of the bigger picture. So yeah, she gets the shot, and then we go to the next scene, which I think is the cutest scene because she's getting fitted for graduation, and I love that we're starting to see her little baby bump. It is the
I know.
cutest thing.
I really, really am a fan of how the writers prepare or how they write the younger Jane out because they do such a good job at kind of letting us know why Jane is who she is now. Because from the beginning of the show, we were saying, oh, she has all these morals and she's this way and she's that
Right.
way, and now it's just completely understanding because I know her more than just what we've seen, but because of the all the scenes that we've had from her when she was younger.
The flashbacks.
And she does like to prepare and the planning,
Yes.
and it's just really, it preps us perfectly for everything that's going to happen in the episode.
And we also see the juxtaposition between Jane and Siamada and how different they were, and also how their relationship has really been the same throughout. But we had that funny moment later, which we'll get to in a minute, about Abuela saying,
Exactly.
you know, showing the differences of them when they were little and them how they're going to be his parents.
Yes, that's a graduation. Well, actually, after the test. Yeah. Okay, we saw that scene. So she actually talks to Raf about actually getting a test because they were getting ready to go to the doctor's office to actually
Find out the sex of the
find
baby.
out the sex of the baby, and then
And Raph doesn't want to know.
He doesn't want to know, but she actually likes to know because, again,
She's a planner.
She's a planner, and she wants to plan. And she's like, you got to know the colors, and you have to know the scheme. And so I get that. Would you, if you were a mom, would you want to know the sex of the baby?
I mean, I go back and forth. I think it'll be different, God willing, when I have that opportunity. I might not want to know, or I might totally want to know every little thing.
Maybe like halfway through.
Yeah.
You know, once you're getting to the point where you're picking out curtains and you're
Exactly.
painting the
Yeah,
walls, you might want to know.
Yeah.
But then again, you could just have like a unisex.
Neutrally,
I
that's,
was
you
going to
know.
say, unisex is always the best, I think.
And the
Rainbow.
element, and I could imagine that the element of surprise at the day of your of the birth it would be pretty incredible.
The other thing, though, too, is that she thinks that it's a girl. Like 99%.
And I don't know.
She
Yeah.
thinks that it's a girl, whereas I feel like Raph is deep down wishing that it's a boy because he wants someone to pass down
The family
His
name.
legacy.
the family name and the legacy and the heir, because that's his one chance, as far as we know. But it's a soap opera-ish, so there's always a chance he could recreate again.
That's true.
You don't know how many other girls he's gotten pregnant.
You don't. You
No,
know,
don't
he had,
say
it looks like. Well, I mean, hey, we saw those pictures at the beginning where he was the party boy.
was the
He might
party
have,
boy.
you know,
You could
some
have
Mexican.
hoes and
He
He might
different
have some
rainbows.
Mexican babies from spring break.
Well, here's
didn't
the
even
thing,
know
though.
about.
What's really sad is the only thing I'm worried about after.
That's a good point.
When
That's a very
that he's
good
had,
point,
I know.
Gabby.
Well, and
my
it
boy.
sucks because if that was the case, that'd be horrible because. They find out that there's something wrong with the baby, and they have to do an
Maybe.
maybe
Something.
right. So they have to do
Spots.
what's the test called?
Amniocentesis.
Okay, so that's the test that they do. My thing is that if the risks happen, which is 1 in 300, if she miscarries, he doesn't have anything else after
That
chemo
he knows of.
No,
That
no.
I know what you're
He
saying
doesn't
with
have
her.
sperm.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Well, I meant like he couldn't reproduce
Right.
afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Dunzos.
Wait, he
so
has no more
that's what.
sperm?
No, because after his chemo
After
treatment, because he had
chemo.
cancer,
That's
that's
why
why
they
they
had
had
to do
it
the whole-
beforehand, which is horrible because
In vitro.
Then that's it. I mean, they're lovers, but they wouldn't have children.
But you never know. It is television. It can happen.
But
we also know already, spoiler alert, that the baby is going to be born on the last episode of the season. So she's definitely not losing the baby. It's just whether or not the baby is healthy.
You guys know so much about this show. It's so exciting. And watching it with you was amazing. We had like such big reactions and like, oh, no, wait, but there's this over here. And, wow, so much more exciting watching it with her
hair color, that's a wig. No, it's not. Look at the color of her shorts. Look at the tone in her legs.
Right? No, we love this show.
Rose's body
looking
looked
out for you,
incredible right
superfans.
by the way.
Oh, yeah, Rose's body with the,
Right?
I guess we can talk about that.
Siamada's legs.
Oh,
Everyone.
Petra's legs, like all of their legs. I'm like, they need a Jane the Virgin.
And it should be that way
workout.
because we are imitating an actual novela. So telenovela, and in novelas, they're all banging.
And, just Latinas in general.
Petra is a Latina, and she's dropped in gorgeous.
I know,
She's a pretty ass white girl.
And
so
Nadine is cute too.
Nadine's
we
gorgeous.
got that little
I
chocolate
know.
in there. Yeah, Nadine is very cute. Don't forget the
We're all
chocolate girl.
sensitive.
Hey, and
Brett.
Brett is beautiful.
Okay, and Justin's beautiful.
Okay, so back to my point. Everybody on the show is beautiful.
Okay, so then the next scene is Ralph, Michael, and Nadine and Rose and Scott, Emilio.
Still doing the investigation.
Yeah, they're still doing the investigation, and so they find out that she actually knew that he was on the boat. So that's confusing because
that he was just he was at the office late.
But then they find out later that she really knew.
She's running her mouth because they have the affair. That's why Rose called and said, we're going to have to speed things up.
Right.
She knew she was
And
about
that
to
comes
get
a
caught
little
up.
later.
Okay.
But during this part, this is just when Raph is showing them the letter from his sister and saying
have more
he thinks his
questions.
dad is Sin Rostro.
And that Ralph does have some involvement.
And Brett seems to imagine that he for sure has to have some involvement, which at the end, we're wondering
Dun, dun, dun.
if that's really the case. But at this point in time, Brett's still trying to really drill him for having some involvement, some knowledge of the case because he just, emotions are getting involved here.
Yeah.
And if anything, Raph's like, well, no, I called you to tell you that this is going on.
But then during that whole investigation and him asking him a million questions, he's still like focused on what's happening with Jane and the baby and the test and knowing that she's worried, which I think is really
good. Every time that happens, I love it because for me, their relationship is still too good to be true. So relating into the new, like in the real world, even though I know it's a telenovela.
right.
That's so scary. I keep feeling like something's going to happen where he's just going to be like, change of heart. Sorry about it,
So it's nice when he scores points.
Because you're like,
sweet Rafa.
You just
But
keep
that
thinking
is
like,
how
oh,
a real
he is.
relationship should be.
What?
You should have someone that is that understanding.
No,
and that is, yeah.
Absolutely, but for it to have happened as quick as it did,
Yeah.
regardless of the insemination, because I could see that happening to anybody who got accidentally inseminated, that you would grow a connection with that person just because of that common ground. Whereas
true.
everything else is where I'm like, questionable if she has the miscarriage.
Have you been accidentally artificially inseminated?
Yes,
question,
I was
Gaby.
the last. No, I'm just kidding. Right?
Anybody?
I know.
Accidentally artificial.
But if you were, and then you had to meet this person, or
I mean, you hope to God they look like Raph.
Well,
Right?
yeah.
That makes it a lot
seriously.
easier to have a connection.
Seriously. I think if anything, I'm sure there are people who maybe it wasn't an accident that they were inseminated, but they were inseminated and then they met like the sperm donor or like the egg donor or something. And then
right.
what? I'm just exploring the different options. But
It
what's
could
really
happen.
tripping me up though is that, from what we've seen in terms of the relationship between Raph and Rose so far, it's Rose panicking, saying she's so scared, she's so worried, she thinks her husband is involved in this and this and this. But then towards the end, we see him possibly helping her escape. So what is the true dynamic between these two?
Between
Rose and Raph.
Oh. Yeah,
He
you know
doesn't
what?
help her escape.
Yeah.
Well, that was what I thought happened in
Does
the last
Raph know about
scene.
his dad in the concrete block? I haven't seen
No,
him.
nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I'm still
knows that.
traumatized from that scene.
Yeah.
Me too, because we had a conversation. I was like, what would really happen? Like, could he have like moved his feet to like try to get out? And then she was like, no, it was on his head.
Homeboy's
It starts drying up quickly. I mean, haven't you seen that?
Grey's Anatomy?
Yes. That's
That's
the
the
scene that I
one-
told
yeah,
her
what
about.
happened
I told
in
her
the
about
Grey's
that scene last
Anatomy?
week. I'm like, that it'll start sucking
Sucks
up
out
the water
the-
from like
Yeah.
your body, and then it creates like a burning sensation to your skin, and then you're just dead. You're donezo.
Dunzo, that's
Bad
a new
news.
one. I've never heard of Dunzo.
Dunzo comes from the hit MTV reality series Laguna Beach.
Okay, Dunzo. Did you know that,
Ew,
Gabby? This is
Yeah.
I did
new.
not know
watched
that
show.
trivia.
Yeah.
I didn't know that
taking
trivia
notes.
either.
True story.
take it
When
back.
Kristen Cavallari heard
Taking
her,
Dunzo.
what was it? Her like.
That is not from Laguna
It
Beach.
is. That's when it really caught on.
Okay.
I'm not. Look it up.
So
And her car
YouTubers,
breaks down.
if you're watching on YouTube and you know where Dunzo comes from, please let
Tell
us
everybody
know.
it was Stephanie.
I'm sure
Giorgi.
she didn't invent it. She didn't invent it, but that's where it like.
It blew up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I had no idea. Okay. All right. Okay. So
Dunzos.
Dunzo. Yeah, we're Dunzo.
On to the next one.
On to the next scene. So Siamada and Rogelio, I'm loving how their relationship is developing.
And he's around all the time.
And he's around all the time. But you
Even though she's not putting out.
Yeah.
that's the best though.
Or because she's not putting out.
Adorable though. Rogelio is. I just
gorgeous.
I love him.
Yeah.
Were you able to meet most of the cast, even though you only had a scene with Abuela?
Unfortunately, I only met the people that I work with, but then Gina's a friend of mine, so I've met her several times
Oh,
before.
she's so sweet.
Yeah, she is very, very sweet. I had the opportunity to work with her on a web series in Spira, and then I interviewed her on Latin Nation, and we had some mutual friends, so she's awesome. Been able to see her just like climb the ladder.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I met Andrea, I met Yvonne, and then Cheech Marin, who shows up in this episode, which is amazing.
That's
I know.
so
We really
forgot to
incredible.
talk about that.
Yeah, we're getting to it.
Okay.
Getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay, so yes, he's around all the time. Are we done with that scene? Siamada and Rogelio, and she's like,
Well-
And you just see his level of comfort too with the family.
Yeah,
that's
he-
the best
Yes.
part.
I know.
But genuinely comfortable, especially with Alba. Like he has his respect towards her.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Saying any man would be lucky to have her.
I
But he's
know.
still cute. He has that like naivety of being this big telenovela star and still being who he is, but in an endearing way.
Yes.
You kind of like
Yes.
love him for it, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's okay.
We love him even though he's arrogant. Like
Yeah.
you could still love him. It's possible. So he's like a perfect dichotomy, but I love dichotomies.
And
of
now
course.
also he and Siamada are switching places because she's trying to encourage him
Yes,
to,
that's
you know,
so true.
pursue his dream or continue to pursue his dreams and his career, even though it all kind of.
Fizzled
Right?
out. Yeah.
But that's a perfect example of showing how people can bring out the best in each other.
Yeah.
You know? Because they're not so focused. They're not having sex, but at the end of the day, you still have that person around, so you're not as lonely. So you're able
Right.
to focus on other things. And I feel like you can see both. Because Jane's mother seems to be growing up a little bit. She
does.
seems she's not as naive. She's more mature. She's more motherly, and like I like that. And I feel that Rogelio has some of it. Has a lot to do with it because she had to put herself in check, and when you do, you get time to reflect on yourself and figure out who you are and kind of pave the road
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, they're developing a part of the relationship they've never developed before.
Exactly.
Because they never started that way. So now they have time to focus on that, which is great. So good job for not putting out.
Yay!
sometimes it's
What
Abstinence
good
works.
is a cow if you can get the milk for free?
I feel like you need to say that like with an Italian accent or something.
You kind of sounded like an old Jewish mother.
I
there.
know,
Yeah, you
right?
did.
And that's my favorite. That's what I love to sound like.
Okay, so do it again. Do it again. Let's hear your old Jewish accent. Come on.
My favorite singer in Jersey is Barbara Streisand. I absolutely love her.
I love Barbara Streisand.
My mother used to always say, Joey, your vegetables, they good for you.
That's really good, Steph. That's really good. But I really do like Barbara Streisand.
I love Barbara Streisand too.
I do
She's
love
the
her.
business.
Is
She's
she
everything.
the business? Yes, Papa, can you hear me? Okay, so Papa, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, it's long show.
Show, right?
I want to be on that show.
I know, right? Okay, so the next scene is a scene that you were skipping to.
Quick
Abuela, physical therapy. Ta-da! We saw the beautiful Gaby looking great. Yes, muscles.
Right? She was our physical therapist.
Yes.
Abuela looked so cute too in her little
Sweats.
windbreaker. Her little windbreaker was so
Yeah.
wonderful. And then good old Cheech.
Yes.
That was awesome.
He was
I
working
like,
out.
He was, and
Yeah,
he
he
was
was.
looking
Put
her.
in some time.
What was he like
Exercise
in
cycle.
person?
Sweetheart.
I
Just
bet.
a complete sweetheart. I mean, you always want to work on every set and come back with a great feeling from everybody you work with. But I can honestly say everybody I worked with that day was amazing. Cheech was no
heard.
different. He's just like, he's sweet. You know, he's like I feel like I know him just because I grew up watching Cheech
Yeah,
and
of
Chong. My
course.
family watched it. And so I already felt like I had this weird connection with him. I just tried not to be like totally nerd out. And then Yvonne, just so sweet, so warm. Andrea, also amazing. Just all of them sweethearts. I mean, I cannot say a negative thing about any part of my experience on the show.
And it sounds like everyone shared that experience, and they
Everyone,
gave you
yeah.
the book that we've been
Yes.
talking about a couple
Yes.
times.
Yeah, they signed it. Andrea gave this to me, and the cast signed it. It's The War of Art. If you haven't read it, you need to read it.
My favorite part about this, y'all, is that Andrea wasn't lying. Look, they signed it genuinely, like, and she didn't even know that we had the book. She got it, and she's like, yeah, so they gave me this, the cast gave me this book. And we're like, we know.
Andrea
have
was like,
it
it was
too.
a game changer. I hope it will be for you too. And it was
That's so wonderful.
really awesome.
I mean,
Just to be able to be that supportive to fellow artists.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's important because you had that scene with her,
Yeah.
and like, come on now, that's incredible. That's
And
awesome.
they've done the guest star thing and the co-star thing, and you never know when
They get it.
something's
They know
gonna
what's
hit.
up.
And
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Gina in particular, you know, she climbed the ladder. You know, she paved the way, and I've seen her like really go through the ranks and really fight for it and earn her way up, and like
Incredible.
that's amazing. Props to her.
Yeah,
Go,
that
Gina.
kind of gave me chills
Inspiration
right
for
now a
all
little
of
bit.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
like watching her give that Golden Globe speech, I mean,
was incredible. I so fell in love with her. I used to be in love with Viola Davis because I actually met her
she's great.
and interviewed her for The Help, and she actually knew who I was from I'd done like 500 fitness videos, and so she saw me from one of them. It was like, oh, Viola, you know me? Oh my goodness. She was like, I'm gonna tell my husband I met you. I was like, you gonna tell your husband you met me?
I'm gonna
tell
the
this
whole
story. Right. I was like, I'm gonna tell this story.
I
a
watch
million
How to Get
times.
Away with Murder for her.
Oh my, me
I
too.
love-
I love that show. But yeah,
Watch her
so
all day
Gina's speech reminded me of just meeting Viola and just how powerful she was, like as a woman. And so I was like,
And she gave a really similar speech the following week for SAG.
I love
The SAG
her.
Awards when she won
I didn't
for
see
How
the
to Get Away
SAG
with Murder.
Award. Yeah.
Look
Oh,
up, just look
okay.
up her speech, Viola
my
Davis,
gosh.
and she talks about.
When you have that kind of heart and passion for what you do, it's you can't fake it.
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely,
and
especially
they carry
in-
the responsibility, I
Yeah.
think, and they're proud of that, of representing, you know, a culture
women.
that wants to make a difference and wants to be seen as
Heroes.
heroes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So, are we gonna see you again? Do you know if the romance between Abuela and Cheech is going to grow?
I mean, I've heard some rumors, but I can't say for sure.
Okay.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
think they're adorable. And you know what? Alba needs a love.
She
And
does.
She's long overdue
Yes,
per that
she
little
is.
conversation she had with
Thank you.
Siamada in this episode.
That's coming up. That's what we're going to talk
I know.
about
She's
next.
long
Yeah.
overdue.
Talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about it. 'Cause that's,
Go ahead,
that's
girl.
coming up.
Transition.
Go
That
ahead,
was a
Gabby.
perfect
Go
transition.
ahead.
Go ahead, girl.
Wait, about their conversation?
Yes.
I only saw the second half of the episode, but I did see the conversation between Siamada
Alba.
and Alba.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they talked about how, you know, she asks her, why have you never had a relationship, you know, after you had me, you just kind of never,
See it or know why.
yeah. And her response was basically that she wanted to, you know, she was really focused on her kids, and that was her life, and that was the most important relationship in
That
her
her
life.
husband deserved.
And then
Yeah.
she said her husband
Yes.
deserved it because after he passed,
You
like
guys take
he
better notes
really,
Menese.
I
he
know, right?
really wanted to, like she really wanted to move there, and I guess he moved there for her.
Yeah.
And she was like, I feel like he deserves it, but I'm like, oh
And
my
that's
gosh.
a lot because, you know, I have a lot of family members who came over here. My father came here before my mother, and they, you know, it's all, my grandmother, God bless her, she passed away, but that was like in her, when she died, that was a story that they wrote about her dream was for her children to be in the United States. And so
Wow.
it's a lot of work, especially if you don't want to settle, especially if you want to come in here and, you know, have a house. They have a house on the show, which is kind of a big deal, you know,
Yep.
like, you know, when you come to a different country, you are a minority, you don't know that much, you don't know the language, so that must have been like a lot for her. And then she finally got to be where she is in the land of opportunity and, you know, safety. That why would she want anyone else? Like now it's her
Yeah.
job, it's her turn to like take care and to work hard and
To take care of her family.
Well, why would she want anyone else? Green card.
Right. But we find what episode was that? What chapter was that? Where when she was in the hospital, that Michael called somebody and made a call and said
she was needed for a witness.
A witness on a case, but that's not forever.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not forever?
No, it's just until the case is over.
Oh, okay.
Until the case is closed.
I know.
Abuela needs an American man. Okay, go ahead.
Or
Abuela.
not necessarily American man, but just someone with American citizenship.
Right.
Okay, well
Yes.
that works too.
Yes.
Cheech is American.
Hey, there you go. Bam.
Mexican American.
Mexican American. Hey, as long as he got that visa, that passport, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty, but I'm sure he was born in the United States, so.
Yeah, because he's Chicano.
Yeah, exactly. La raza.
La raza. What does la raza mean?
I'm not Mexican. I don't know. It's like Chicanos. It's the how the Mexican culture became the culture that like the Chicano culture in Los Angeles and
Like the people that don't even necessarily speak Spanish.
Yes, exactly.
But they have
like they
but they still have
Latino
like an
backgrounds.
accent that's Mexican, but it's more of like a Los Angeles accent, and there's like a whole culture that.
Okay.
Why are you giggling?
I'm just thinking of
like
everybody that I know.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Why didn't you have a response for that?"
Yeah.
But it's basically it's an exclamation of pride of
Okay.
the culture.
Perfect.
I got you.
Well said.
Okay.
Leave it at that.
Educate the chocolate girl. I had no idea. Thank you.
The more you know.
Yeah.
That was good. Good job.
I think I cried to the end.
Oh, we're not singers on this show. Okay, so they do the test, and after the test,
Well, after going back and forth with Siamada and Alba about it for a while,
yes.
because at first she was like, I don't want to do it.
yeah,
And then she was up all night, and she saw the baby on the bus with the dot.
yes, and so she decided to do it. And then after she does the test, Ralph comes over and they have like a slumber party. I'm still trying to figure out why was he laying on the floor, and you had go ahead.
They're in
Gabby.
Abuela's home, and
Out
in
of
respect for her
Mexican
grandma.
American culture, I grew up not even being allowed to have a guy in my room, much less in my bed.
Really?
I'm still not.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
I think it definitely has to do with the culture and out of respect for Abuela. So I think it's
Okay.
very sweet that he's sleeping on the floor.
And
It's
yeah,
sweet.
they're not married, so
Yeah.
that's the
Okay.
basis of it.
But Brett did sleep in the bed when
He sure did.
when he slept over.
That's what I
And
was
I'll-
gonna say.
with the door, I think the
But
door
she
was
said
left
open.
the door
She just
open.
needs the bed. I don't think that it was good for him to be in the bed
To
with
be
her.
around. I
think
gotcha.
just her body and everything in
needed to
general
not
was just
move.
sensitive. She just needed to be like
I got you.
space.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will say I do relate to that comment we were talking earlier that I have more than one floor in my house, and even to this day, if I bring a guy home, holidays, whatever, he's on the bottom floor, I'm on the top floor. He's not even allowed to set foot on the stairs.
Homeboy sleeping on the couch.
That's like every culture besides the
I was
American
gonna
culture.
say because
That's every culture besides the American culture.
yeah,
It's the
because
same.
my mama would not have it either. She's like, "What? No, there's no ring. Oh, y'all are married? Okay, nope. He's sleeping in the other room."
Bye.
Yeah, so I get it. So yes, they kind of talk and
Yeah, we know that, girl,
Yeah.
because you never. You don't know one ever comes to your room.
Hey, just because he goes into the room,
It's true.
just because he goes into the room doesn't mean something has to happen. Siamada and Rogelio have been sharing a bed at
That's
night, and they're not doing it.
true. In her onesie pajamas. I think that's so cute. I love the onesie pajamas. Yeah. So what happened? So they really kind of.
They talk about it. Ralph is wonderful at calming down Jane,
He
which is another
is.
reason why it's like, oh, you do know her. You're so sweet
Yeah.
because only your man would be able to calm you down, you know? But I
And
guess,
she's still thinking about it. Like,
well, because I feel bad that she felt bad. She was right. I would have thought the same thing when she said, I put my needs before the baby's needs. And that's
Yeah.
the reason why I did the test, because if I didn't want to be stressed, that's not okay. And then I appreciated him saying that you missed your ceremony for your, without
so you
a
made a
second thought of it,
sacrifice, yeah.
you just did it. So that's good. And then now we just have to see what's going to happen.
And she's nervous for a while because there's no kicking.
yeah.
And then
After
kicks.
48 hours.
And he tries to convince her, well, babies have to sleep too. You should
Yeah.
get some rest.
The baby kicks in that same scene. And then
Yeah.
everything's okay.
Everything's okay. So then we see Siamada and Ralph in the kitchen talking about a plan that he has when she was like, it's not going to work. It's corny. It's cheesy or whatever.
She's not going to like it.
She's not going to like it. Nobody's going to like it, but she absolutely loves it. But she's kind of cheesy too. Like shopping at Target is kind of cheesy.
Well, Target's also a product placement.
I know, right? And it's a great product placement. They have the best stuff. The shoes, oh my goodness. Clothes, great. Especially when they do like the designer
Nutella.
stuff. Have you been to like They have some great like designer lounges. Okay, that's AfterBuzz TV Target. Yeah, go ahead.
Send us
We do
money,
have
y'all.
an announcement though,
What's the announcement?
right?
What's the announcement?
Do we not have an AfterBuzz announcement?
Oh,
You were going to talk about?
I already did it.
Oh, you already did it. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
You know what?
probably did it
I'll
when
go
we were
ahead and
spilling
remind
water.
you all, mid-show, go ahead and subscribe to our page down below. Find us on youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, iTunes, SoundCloud. Find us wherever.
Happy face and thumbs up.
Right?
Okay,
Continue.
so yeah.
Tell your mom, tell your
Back
friends.
to the
Sorry,
show.
awkward.
Awkward crickets. Okay, so graduation, they play the music and there's balloons.
On his little iPhone.
Yeah, so she has a little cap. I mean, not the
Yeah,
cap.
cap.
That's pretty
No,
sweet. She
no
gets to have
gown.
her graduation ceremony from her bed. Like, that sounds pretty sweet. Like, my graduation from USC was out in the heat with hundreds of other students. I was sweating under my gown. Like, that
I was
sounds like
really
a pretty
drunk.
sweet graduation
I was
ceremony.
really tired.
She was wasted.
I was wasted. I fell asleep. It was really
You were
long.
wasted at your graduation?
Yeah. Wow. Everyone, well, traditionally, I don't know if you did this, but at our school,
I don't drink.
at our school, it's a tradition to go to the bar at 6 a.m. with your parents. And
Oh,
so
that's an awesome tradition.
it was great. It was so much fun. I was taking tequila shots with my dad at 6 a.m. and like Bloody Marys and beer and like I like
bar.
See, I like those
it's
kind of
called the
shots.
901 bar.
Those are the
Oh,
only
I've heard of
shots
that.
I like.
Yeah, so we took like tequila shots, and then I think we didn't have like a formal walk to your seats. It was just kind of, there's so many people, so you just kind of walk to your seat. And I think like under my robe or like in my pocket, I had like a 6-pack of beer.
No.
Yeah. And I like, I fell asleep. Actually,
you're
I had to go to the
inebriated.
bathroom halfway through. And I was like right in the middle, so I had to hop over all these people, and I didn't even know where the bathroom
and you're like,
was.
I broke the seal. I'm sorry.
When they called your name, did someone have to wake you up?
No.
And, like a bunch of like beers like
No,
spill out
at
of
that
your gown as you're
'cause
walking up.
At that point,
It's all-
I knew because there was a big ceremony and there's a small ceremony. So during the big one, I didn't pass out, go to sleep. Like I took like a little snooze for a second,
little
like closed my
siesta.
eyes, was still kind of listening, and then during the where they call your name, I was awake during that part.
Well, that's good.
But
You
I was
didn't
just kind
miss
of
your
like
name.
ready for it to be over and dehydrated.
College ceremonies are ridiculous.
I mean,
was-
they can't revoke your diploma at that point, right?
Right, yeah.
Even if you are drunk.
I was never so excited to stop drinking at that point because I think the 2 weeks prior it was just like
Celebration.
Did you lose a bunch of weight after graduating from
Yes.
USC? Because I did.
yes, and then I fell in
Just
love.
like 10 pounds like that.
Yeah, and then I fell in love and I gained it all back, so I'm working on getting rid of that.
Jane gained a bunch of
graduation,
weight
15.
at her graduation because she got a baby.
She got a baby. I like
So
the way
she's
you
just
said
gonna
that.
get bigger.
Yeah.
She's
Anyway,
got a
back to
baby.
Jane.
Back
Enough
to
about my
Jane.
graduation.
I did it. Did you? I hope everyone
hear
caught
more
how
about
I
your
brought that
graduation.
back around.
There was
like how you
no
did that.
drinking at Jane's graduation.
Absolutely not.
However, I would have not passed out if Rogelio would have been my keynote speaker.
I know, that
know.
was so
That
cute.
was so cute.
I loved it. I love the keynote.
Or not passed
speaker.
out. Sorry, took a nap.
His little note
I
cards.
love it.
Then he gets a call from
much.
his agent. Does he get the job?
It's okay. I will let it go to voicemail.
Yeah. But eventually we found out he does.
Yes, he does get the job. Oh, we'll talk about that later. Because the speech that her mother gives is like yeah, it made me cry. And
It was good. I'm glad that Raph. Sorry for interrupting. I'm glad that Raph made that for them because I'm sure that they wouldn't have communicated that. I mean,
yeah. That's true.
there's a lot of Latino families where I feel. I mean, we're close, but that's why they said cheesy. Like you just don't do
Yeah.
that corny type of ish. We're like, okay, we know how we feel. It's like respect and love. It just should be there, and we don't have to talk about it, kind of a thing.
That's how my dad is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a
Likewise.
generational thing because
I mean,
most
old
older
school.
people, old
And it's
school,
that whole
you
that
just don't
toughness
say it.
thing, and it's only now that we've found out what communication does for people, which is it's very important. But I thought it was nice that he set that up for them, so they were able to say what they wanted to. Alba was very sweet.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and talk about that part.
Yeah, you can talk about that.
Well, Siamada talks about how, as her
was
daughter,
easy for-
that she hopes that she feels that way one day for her child, and how she inspires her every single day, which is so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
My favorite part's coming up.
Oh, and then Alba talks about how, you know, with Jane, it was the kind of thing that, well, first of all, that she's just so proud of her granddaughter in
Right.
general, and she always is. And those, I can relate to those. Like, my mom is the opposite of the not communicate thing. Like, she's the one who starts crying, like, does the sign of God on everything. She put halos on the bottom of my graduation shoes and, like, wrote, like, a prayer on them, and then, like, gave me my shoes. It was really sweet. And
And then you got wasted.
But you know what? She was still there, and anyway. So wait, then what's the favorite part coming
and
up?
then Jane at the end of that, she asks like, well, so what? How do I become a good mom? What do I need to
what are
do?
the
And that
keys?
part was the funny part because you could say Alba's part, but Jane's mother goes, well, you were the kind of daughter that I just had to let you go and learn things for yourself. So it was really easy. And then Alba.
And then Alba goes, well, I had a different experience.
Not all the girls are like that.
not necessarily the case. And she's like, that's mean. And she goes, it's not mean, it's the truth.
And I made a point to say that because what cracks me up is that I remember asking my grandma how to say mean in Spanish, which you don't say. It's not a word like that. It doesn't exist. And so it cracked me up that Alba goes, no es mean. She says no es mean, and she leaves the word mean, and it's just cute.
I know the word for mean because my mom used to say that to me all the time growing up.
Okay, but what? It's like mala.
No seas mala.
I know,
which is bad.
Which is bad, right? But it's like exactly. So that's why it made me laugh. Mean. I would say mean. Another one is. No, but that's only in the Mexican culture because it's not like an actual word. But Mexicans always say sangrona for some people.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Sangrona.
I've heard all the words.
I don't know that.
Besides getting drunk at my graduation, and
Traviesa.
even then I was always a
There
good
you go.
girl. So just throwing that out there.
You're just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Just
Did
for
she
sake.
Yeah, I wasn't mean.
Did you
I
start
wasn't
feeling
bad.
guilty and bad right now? It's okay.
No, I just wanted to clarify.
Was I drunk shaming you? Because
No. Maybe a little. But I just want to. I mean, I'm not ashamed.
She's lying. I'm gonna take her out and I'm gonna Instagram us getting effed up.
I'm not
everybody.
ashamed. I'm not ashamed of the way that it all went down. It was one of the best
celebrating.
days of my life. I was celebrating, but I just want to clarify.
Everybody's proud that you're a USC graduate.
I know. That's
about that?
impressive.
She
you like
can
how we
drink
slipped
whatever
that
she
in?
wants.
Yeah, USC. Trojans. Go,
Trojans.
ladies. Okay.
I'm wearing a little cardinal tonight.
Oh, hey.
Total coincidence.
There's your goal.
We're matching
are.
Raphael's little V-neck.
I went to the school of Lennon,
I love Lennon.
the Beatles.
You know,
They
all
taught
the
me
Beatles-
everything I needed to know.
really? Where's
Where's
that?
London,
We
maybe?
probably have the same symbol at our schools.
Yeah.
We're totally off subject. Okay, next scene. What happens? Michael, Nadine, the mistress, selfies.
Well,
Did we
Rose,
talk
we
about-
find out, is not a redhead.
I know. That was such
Which is a bummer because I love her redhead.
I do too, but we think.
I think in real life she is a redhead.
I do too.
I don't think she's necessarily a natural redhead. Maybe she is, but not like as fiery of a
like
redhead.
strawberry,
the Auburn.
maybe?
Yeah. And I think maybe naturally she might be a blonde or she might be like a light brown. Anyway, but so I think that what we've seen thus far has been her real hair, but then in that particular instance, it's not like you see it being pulled. It's like already off when she's pulling it. So I think
But it's a
that-
really good wig. Whoever the makeup person is.
And I was
like,
trying to focus on her on like the top part.
But it's a really good, like, that's a good lace front. I was like really impressed.
I don't know anything about wigs, so
I mean,
so if you
Why
say
you
so,
gotta-
if you say so, then it's true.
I know, because I have a lot of friends who wear like wigs, like just
Extensions,
extensions
yeah.
and just wigs, and so. But I could. Well, I don't know. That's not
No,
true because
look
you know what?
at
Most
it.
wigs, I feel like I can't tell sometimes.
Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj, Lady Gaga, Wendy Williams, I never can tell.
Yeah, but if
those
you
are-
see the hairline, they
Beyonce
glue
too.
pieces of hair
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
front.
Well, those
'Cause
are
I
really
recently wore
good.
a
Yeah.
one. They did that, and it's not comfortable. But they
Yeah, it's not comfortable.
They glue little pieces of hair at
Yeah.
the front just to cover that hairline, and it looks really real. It's great.
Yeah.
You remind me of Tinkerbell,
Oh,
like
that's
a cute
compliment.
Latina
Yeah.
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbella.
La Tinker.
Latinka. That's going to be your name for the rest of the show. Latinka.
That was a good one, Giselle Ugarte.
Thank you.
Okay, what did we just say?
So let's go to
Oh no, Rose.
Rose working with.
Well, not that. How do they find out about? Oh no, Scott. So in the
find out
beginning
that
of the
there's a
episode,
mistress.
Scott gives them a look, and then Michael notices it. So they go to speak to Scott, who is the
Oh,
assistant of
yes.
Emilio, and says, "No, he wasn't there. I mean, I couldn't say this, but
Okay.
he's having an affair. I know that private account. Thank God for this guy because I couldn't tell if Scott was good or not. You know,
I
didn't he seem
couldn't
kind
tell
of
either
sketchy?
until
Initially, when he said that he had to agree with everything he was saying,
Right.
that seemed sketchy. But then once he revealed,
Yeah.
look, I have the alibi.
Exactly, which is awesome.
It
And
still
then
seems
that
like he's
helped everything
douchey,
out.
but he's at least cooperating.
I think
Well,
he's
I'm
saying
just happy
douchey.
that after they found out that information, that Michael wasn't still trying to go after Ralph, that he actually investigated and wasn't like an awesome detective in that moment.
Yes.
Because he found everything out and was like, oh, this and that and this and that. I'm like, yes, detective work.
Go, Michael. Figure it
Michael.
out. So he figures it out that Emilio, because he thought Emilio initially was Sinrostro, that he still had the same, Rose had the same access that Emilio had. So
It could have been her, right? It could have been her.
Yeah.
The last thing that we see is Nadine looking at the videos, and then as far as Roman Zazzo's murder goes, they see Rose and Emilio out front before
And
they
then
happen.
they
They
see-
see the
couldn't have
bellboy
done
out
it.
front.
I see the bellboy.
It probably still was Petra's mother.
They don't see Raph.
I know they don't
And they
see Ralph.
don't see Petra's mother.
They don't see Petra or Petra's mother.
I think it's Petra's mother. She's just
Who
crazy.
knows? Because we
Yeah.
sure see somebody later.
Oh,
talk about that.
I don't understand though, like, how is he alive?
Here's the thing, though. The only thing I will
okay,
say,
yeah. Are we going to that? now?
Milos, we thought Petra died.
But there's a difference because
There's a glacier
there's
in
a
his
full-on
stomach.
investigation for this guy's death. Like, there's a full-on investigation for this guy's murder.
And there were all
You know,
those
like-
witnesses that saw him impaled in broad daylight.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
like,
he had to have fallen from somewhere to land on top of the statue.
so does he have like a twin or
No,
something?
but the lights turned off, so maybe it's a setup. Maybe he's laying in between the two. I don't know.
Because the lights were off.
The lights were
That's
off. The lights shut off
interesting.
of the entire thing, and then we just hear
Yeah.
that.
That's true.
We hear.
But they still had to have collected a body though.
That's
for the
true.
for the FBI to be investigating a murder.
Then maybe it was
But then,
another dead body or the plastic surgery.
This is
I don't
stressing
But
me
they
out.
still have to have a
know.
body.
yeah, to claim that he's dead and someone had to take his pulse to say, okay, yep, he's dead. But then if you have something in the middle of your stomach and there's blood oozing out.
I don't know. The same thing happened in Pretty Little Liars. They thought they found Allison's. Oh,
I just started watching today. Are you
You
saying
gave
she's
her
not
the
dead?
hand.
no, I'm not saying anything right now.
So rude.
I didn't say it.
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. Okay. I don't know
Okay,
what to
yeah,
do.
pretty
I'm
much.
so sorry. I
Okay.
really tried to be cool about it, but
You can help yourself. So we don't know at the end of the episode what happens because we see Zazo, but then I'm confused because if he was sleeping with your wife, would she be that friendly to him?
yeah, because what if they had a feeling that Petra wasn't, he's like, oh, like do a
it
test.
was a setup?
Like a set
Oh.
to see if she would, and it's like, oh, I knew she was a.
Well, I don't know. That's
That's
weird.
weird.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, but these
this is
people.
good.
But at that
That
point,
I can't predict
well, but
it.
at that point, their relationship was pretty much
over.
Right, of course.
And he wanted any reason because it would have justified not having to give her money in a divorce.
Yeah.
So
he
it was
didn't
actually
want to
he
be
was
with her from.
he was better off having had her cheat on him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah.
I mean,
And then
it
having
could have been
her-
strategic
Oh my
move on
God!
his
And then
part.
what if Ralph is the bad one and it's not Michael?
Wait, what?
Michael isn't bad.
What do you mean not Michael?
Oh, sorry, viewers. Did you see that?
Well, she wouldn't know.
I know. She's watched every episode.
I know, but she would. I thought you meant like as far as behind the scenes.
No, I'm just talking about just from watching
okay.
the show.
No, Ralph isn't bad.
No. We're talking about Michael. How he doesn't
He
seem
could
that way
be.
completely. They both are very. They're men.
I mean,
I don't-
It
can be a
but
whole
I don't think Michael's bad though. I think he acts
No,
out
my
of
point
emotion
is that
and
what if
sometimes
Raph was setting
lies a
this up?
little. Yeah, but,
You know?
but
Is he
Raph,
bad?
we do have reason to think that he could actually be like a bad person, like a villain.
Who, Ralph?
Yeah,
more so
No.
than Michael.
breaking the more so than Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at this point we see Raph going up to what's his name? Zozo? What?
Zazo.
Zazo. Roman.
Roman.
And saying like, did she get on okay, or did something about she?
Who do
So-
you think? Is
No, he
talking-
said, did everything go all right? He didn't say anything about she. He didn't
I
say
thought
she.
he said.
He said, did everything go all right? And he's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then maybe my own personal assumption was that he was referring to Rose getting into that truck. because it looked like they were. It
so
looked
much
like
is
they were in
happening.
like a loading area where they were.
Dang, they set this up.
What do you guys
so
at home
good.
think?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're going
you
nuts
guys are
over
good.
here.
Kudos to the writers. I'm so good at predicting stuff, but I don't know what
I'm
the
so
heck
confused.
to say.
I don't like to predict anything. I like to stay naive, use my suspension of disbelief, and just let it happen.
Let it happen.
I like
Let
to
it
predict
happen.
things because
Like, I have to
then
be right.
no, I like to predict things because then I'm that much more surprised when I'm wrong,
Right?
That's true.
or I'm hoping that they'll prove me wrong. I don't want Raph to be bad.
Me neither.
No, I totally don't want him to be bad. And we didn't talk about
don't care
Petra
either.
Poor
and
Jane.
Milosh.
Milos.
No,
at
and
the
Lachlan
and Laughlin. So Laughlin,
dropping her.
yeah, he
Lachlan.
dropped her.
Lachlan.
Lachlan? Okay. Lachlan, you know who I'm talking about. He dropped her like a bad habit in 2
Jesus.
seconds. Yeah, and gave her little purse and said,
He
you
said
know.
the good news is you're already packed. I was like, oh, God, that was so good.
She did
so
look, she
good.
looked awesome in that little trench coat dress.
Isn't she cute? Her
That
legs.
is like the best breakup plan ever. If you're at home and you just want someone to move out, babe, let's move.
Let's plan a trip.
Let's go on a journey together.
And pack all your things because it's going to be very
All
long.
of it.
That was pretty slick.
That was super slick. That was awesome.
And you have all your stuff with you.
And so she's got really bad taste in men because
Right, 'cause she's
Milos
posted
is
up in
like,
the lobby and then
yeah,
Milos
she's
comes by.
posted up. Who was she calling? I want to know. Like
She
who
was
you
trying to find a
calling?
room. To
Yeah.
stay. And what's funny is that the mother's still missing.
The mother is.
But you know what? If she is, I already know the mom has like money of her own stashed. She
I don't
seems like
think
that type
so.
of a person. Yeah, I bet you she has
It's in
something.
her wheelchair. It's in the tires.
Something. I know she has something. She's
the
fine.
tires.
I think so.
The next time we see her, she's gonna be in a room or she's gonna be set up. She's gonna be absolutely fine. If she could lie that long being in a
That's
wheelchair,
true.
that woman is smart.
Yeah, she's smart and crazy.
And you say girlfriend doesn't know how to pick them. Girlfriend's looking for the wrong thing in a guy. She's looking
that
for
money,
money.
just
She's
a little
looking
bit.
for power, security.
Well, she may have found it because she didn't know Milos had money or his family had money because now he owns 33% of the hotel. And so he was like, we could do it together, but you're going to be stuck
Now we're
with
gonna
me.
be together. Yeah.
And then
Oh
you
my God,
said,
that's so scary.
yeah, just go ahead and do it. She's going to do it.
Yeah. Oh,
She
I
has
said,
nowhere to go.
I
What'd you
said, go
say?
ahead and open your legs. You know you want to.
Again. So yeah, that's how it ends, and it's pretty crazy.
And we might have to say goodbye to Rogelio if he goes to Mexico.
Oh no, we
no,
didn't
he's
talk
gonna
about that.
propose, you guys.
He is.
Well, he said that he has things to consider. I'm happy that he said that
I
because there's nothing better
know.
than not making that. And he's not even in a relationship with her yet. And you know how the first thing is, well, isn't this a decision that we should be making together? And he's already,
He's already considering.
he didn't just drop Jane and Siamada.
I think they are gonna get married, or
This
he's
is
gonna
your
propose,
prediction?
and
Okay.
they're gonna do like a long distance thing where
I think
he'll
so,
come
too.
home on the weekends,
Yeah.
or I mean, it's not
That'll
like
be awesome if the show starts being in like Mexico.
different
as
places.
well.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that'd
it's
be
not
so
that
cute.
hard to travel. It's not like she's in Minnesota or something.
That's true.
It's a, you know,
Just to
That's
rep
very
her
true.
own state. But
it's as far north as you can get in the country.
Minnesota.
But you guys
That's
know before
funny.
Jane the Virgin, he is a really
Yeah.
good
I
telenovela
make
He
him
does
say
have the
that.
millions of followers that Tom Cruise doesn't
you never
have.
know. He could
Right?
have booked some other
1.4
good.
to be exactly.
I hope. Wait, are you hinting at something?
What?
Are you hinting at something?
No, God no. I would
okay.
I would not
I-
even want to hint at such a horrible thing.
I would absolutely love to be in a
Rogelio.
novela with him, but like an actual novela.
I would just love to be in a room with him and just stare.
No, I want
I
to.
would
I
too.
want
I
to be
wanna
a
look at him.
dramatic ass novela. No me toques. Like just something
Good.
dramatic.
Stop. Do it again.
I like when he. See, I almost.
make that face.
I love when he talks in Spanish, but I almost prefer his English with the Spanish accent.
I
when
do
he's
too.
like,
It's adorable.
It's
I
so
love
cute.
It's so cute.
yeah.
They're so cute together. Their teeth are like perfect. I'm like, wow, who's their dentist? I want to know.
that tan, those eyes.
Yeah,
Get out of
it's
here with
gorgeous.
your pretty smile.
I just got them cleaned.
That's right. Yeah, they better be white.
They better be white. Okay, so yeah, you gave your predictions, right? Yes. Gabby,
I mean, throughout, I guess.
do you have any predictions
You know,
that you could say and not lose your?
Well, I
I
mean,
don't know. I don't have any secrets.
Okay, no secrets.
But, you know, as much as I hope things work out between Jane and Raph, I feel like there's going to be a whole lot of hurdles in their relationship.
I
before this
think so
baby's
too.
born.
Yes.
We might see a little bit more Michael in the picture. We might see some back and forth. They have a long history together, and they broke it off
do.
really quickly.
Right?
And she was in a
Really
very
quickly.
emotional, vulnerable state when Raph came into her life.
That's
So
true. She's
this is going to take
pregnant.
some time.
That's why
He's
I
got a
keep-
lot of baggage.
That's why I keep getting so excited every time that Raph 1.5 is nice. And mind you, Rogelio says that it's only been 2.5 months since he's even been in that since all of this has been happening.
Yeah.
Well, we have to like him because then when things don't work out, we're gonna want him back.
Exactly.
True.
Leave it as wanting more. We're
thing of
practically in a
Hollywood.
relationship ourselves now with them. Awesome.
Hollywood.
Great.
It
Really
happens.
serious relationship.
Now I'm
Like,
gonna be at work and I'm gonna be like, Raf, what can I do to get him back?
Not rough.
Not Raf.
Do you have
I don't
predictions?
know. I wish I did, but I don't know. I'm just really excited to see if Roman is a good guy or not. And he is fine too. So
well, I did
I want
message him, so hopefully he'll come
get
in.
him on.
And now I think initially he was like, yeah, I want to come on the show, and then all of a sudden he was like, oh, I can't, in like a really kind of shady way, and I couldn't figure out if it was because he was actually busy or if I'm wondering if this is what he was hiding.
That was probably
Right?
what
because
he was hiding.
because if I were to say like, oh, so are you gonna come back? Then right away it gives it
Yeah.
away.
But now he can, so he could come back.
So we'll see.
Chapter 14.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. I love your 80s songs. That's such
I don't know where they come from. I think
Yeah.
that was
Here.
made up. That's not
The
a thing.
80s.
Right?
Well, and Gabby, speaking of predictions, what else do you have going on right now?
Let's
Because
see.
we may or may not see you back on the show. Hopefully
gonna
we will.
see you.
That
We're
would be
gonna see you.
awesome.
We're
But
gonna see
I have an episode of Rizzoli and Isles coming up.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know the exact day, but it's probably on IMDb. I think the episode is called Footloose.
Footloose.
Oh.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
a good-
That's
Yeah.
very 80s
These
too.
two kids find well, I can't say it.
Don't say it. Yeah, don't give it away.
Where else can we find you? Like, are you doing anything
Social
else?
media.
Well, my website's GabrielaFresquez.com, so you find all my news and updates on there. But yeah, I have a radio show on there called Gab It Up.
Gab
It Up. That's
Nice.
cute.
I like that. Yeah.
That's dope.
What else?
Ooh, the gift of the gab. Is that what you got, girl? Because that'd be dope.
She
You should
gabs.
start using that.
I had a blog called Gift of Gab once.
Okay, because that's awesome. Because me and my
cute.
buddy used to
Done.
say that. We'd be like, we just got the gift of the gab. What you saying? Like, that sounds better
That
for you.
actually, that blog was on a web series I hosted called Inspira, which means inspire, which Gina Rodriguez and Tumex recorded a
Wow.
rap theme song for our show.
Oh, that's dope.
So that's like a little
We'll have to look
There you
at
trivia
go.
there. Look that song up. It's on YouTube. She's awesome. She kills it. It was right after she did
Philly Brown.
Yeah, homegirl can rap.
Dope.
I still have
Gina
to see that.
Rodriguez?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Philly Brown. Go
Oh,
see
yeah.
it. I haven't, but
Philly
I
Brown.
should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be her big breakout role, and then it wasn't.
But this
Well,
is.
it was. It did really well.
It
at Sundance.
was, but it should have done
Well,
better
it didn't get like
mainstream.
massive distribution,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it did really, really well at Sundance.
Sundance,
and
exactly,
that
which is why
catapulted
everyone
her.
Okay,
thought
that's good.
that it was gonna do so well.
She definitely blew the.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Everybody
her show.
knows her. I love when people talk about her because I feel like she's like
My best
that's-
friend?
Exactly. I was like, no, that's my girl. I know. I don't know her, but still.
Yeah, I
But
feel
it's
But
funny
it feels like
because
you
a lot
do.
of times, because people who've never heard of her before, Jane the Virgin, or like probably would assume like, oh, overnight success. Wow. No,
That
she
never
did a lot
happens.
of work. She
No,
had other
absolutely.
movies that she
Oh,
starred
yeah.
in.
No, of
She-
course. I know
like-
in this one person that where I was around, they're like, yeah, that girl, I've seen her around. I mean, she's just so cute. I'm so
she's
tempted to
very
watch the
cute.
show. I'm like, do
Do it! What's keeping you?
It's awesome.
Watch the show. So yes.
Predictions?
Predictions. For me, a wedding. I don't know whose wedding. If it's gonna be
Multiple?
Roth and Jane. I think they should do like a dual wedding. That'd be so
Andrea.
That's
well,
cheesy.
Yeah.
What if
Angela,
Alba elopes with
Alba.
Cheech?
That would be interesting.
She's too respectful.
Not
for
like
that.
Alba, but would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cute. She needs to get some. Alba, get some. You need to get some. Yeah, that would be just weddings. I'm all about weddings. Yeah,
I
because
thought you said sweating.
Well, sweating too after
Like
the wedding.
getting steamy.
Yes.
Sweaty palms.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Some hand holding.
Yeah, hand holding. That's good.
All right, y'all. So that about wraps it up.
That's it. We just went. I don't know where that went. But you can find me on social media at Madison Chase Fit or YouTube, Pinterest. Type in Madison Chase Fitness and I'll come up.
You can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi and on Instagram at SteffiG47.
Thank you, Gabby, for being here.
You guys are awesome. This was so much fun.
Where can we find you?
At Gaby Fresquez on Twitter.
Heyo. You can find me at Giselle Ugarte on Facebook, Giselle Ugarte Official, and I don't know, just type it in, I guess. You'll
Yeah,
find me.
and don't forget to use our hashtag ABTV.
It's AfterBuzz
TV,
TV, JTV.
Yeah.
And you haven't watched TV until you've watched AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah. it's
Hey.
Yes.
true. Really
These girls, they're
I love
brings
it.
the experience home.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you so much.
And
See
listen
you guys.
on
Hasta
iTunes.
luego.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.